I don't know what we can talk about in this nation without talking about white superiority, honestly.
Who defines the meaning of God also defines the relationship between economy and God.
African Americans spent $1.3 trillion last year, making us the 16th wealthiest nation in the world. Why have we not turned those riches into wealth to develop our community?
Peace, family. It's so great to be here tonight. Thank you guys for checking, with us a little later. It's so good. I see a lot of you guys are already in the house. All right, I see Rosh Shamela. Strawberry came back. Strawberry 1955. I see King Nusut. All right, King Nusut. King Khufu. All right. And you know what? Look, I'm feeling these names tonight. All right. Travel Light, Donnie. All right. It is so nice to be here. This is the first time I'm able to sit down with Dr. Valentine. So we're always happy when we have like new people on the show. So this is really, really great. Even though I know you guys already know him. Okay. But he's never been on HAPI Talks. So this is going to be great. And thank you for everyone checking in where you're at. Cynthia, Vel, Always First Class Media. Okay, I see you guys are coming in the house. All right, so while you guys are coming in, you know what I'm about to say. Please, please, please make sure that you are liking and sharing this video, okay? This is how we can break this algorithm. We have a lot of our elders, our scholars, our historians are coming on not just my show, but King Simon, Dr. Oria Maz, everyone's show. Okay. And it's very important that, that you guys like and share everyone's videos so it gets out to more people. Okay. Because that's what it's about. It's about us spreading this word to everyone so that we can all get on this, get on to doing what we came here to do. All right. So it's very important that you like and share this video. And of course, if you want to share some HAPI love, and yes, I took that term from King Simon, the HAPI love, feel free to hit us on the Cash App at $hapifilm. And also we are, if you are on YouTube, you can hit the super chat, which is cool. Or if you're on Facebook, now we have stars. You can buy stars. So if you are inclined to give us money to help fund our HAPI movement and to keep, bringing different guests and just having this platform, you have plenty of ways to give money to us. You can hit us on the Cash App, you can hit us on the Super Chat, or now you can hit us on, with the stars on Facebook. Also, please, please, please head to our website if you are not hooked up to our newsletter. It's all about the newsletter because, next month we're going to be sharing some news for you. And if you get the newsletter, then you get the special link with the discount. Okay, so I'm just going to put that out. Can't say nothing else about it, but I am saying make sure you sign up for the newsletter. And you can do that by going to our website, hapifilm.com, and sign it. You hit the button that says get connected, and you will get connected. And put in your information so that we can make sure that you are on our mailing list. Also, while you're there, of course, you can pick up merchandise. We have all type of HAPI t-shirts and things like that. But we also have one of the most important things, and why we're here, is for the HAPI documentary. For those who have not seen it, yes, we have a whole feature-length documentary that is 2 hours and 12 minutes long, containing 30 of our scholars breaking down the history of money. And the complete name of the film is HAPI, the Role of Economics in the Development of Civilization. So please, 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 if you have not seen HAPI, make sure you go to the website, get HAPI. Also, while you're there, we have the director and producer, Taki Grant. He also did 2 whole other feature films before doing HAPI. So he did the first one, which is Nubia, the Untold Story. And he did that with Dr. Leonard Jeffries. And then later on, he did the Tekken with Mfudishi Juhutimis, and Dr. J was also in that. And where he looked at symbols that resemble symbols that are in Egypt with symbols that are in Washington, D.C. So right there, hapifilm.com. You can just get connected with everything. Also, I just wanted to share this with you guys because this is pretty cool. I want to thank everybody. Thank you. We are up to 10K on IG. That's what's up. And we're going to be doing something a little special on IG too. So thank you for subscribing to all of our platforms. We are on IG, Facebook, and Twitter, and YouTube. So please make sure you are subscribed to us so you get all the latest information as soon as we have it. So I want to thank you guys so much for that. And one last announcement before we bring out Dr. Valentine. Right here, there's been a lot of talk, and we're just going to keep on saying this. This whole division with FBA, with Pan-Africanism, we don't have time for this, family. Okay, we don't have time for this. We have to see, out of all the years of us being here, okay, how they're always trying to divide us. Okay, that's how you conquer a nation. That's how you conquer a people. All right. So we don't have time for that. It's one Africa right there. We had a whole conference because at the end of the day in February, when we were supposed to be going to Egypt with about 203 people, some, I guess, I don't even know what we call them, elitist Egyptians. I don't know. It doesn't matter. All I do know is that they actually started a change.org petition to have us not come for, because we were not only coming to visit, but we were having a conference entitled One Africa Returning to the Source. And we had 13 scholars scheduled to come with us. And we were going to have this conversation about the importance of Kemet in our lives, in our development, and this and that. And when I say they try to shut it down.com, if you can go, and we keep it up on our Facebook page so that no one will ever forget, okay? Because this is why it needs to be a power and unity with us, okay? If one group is being targeted, all of us are being targeted. So when they said you Black people can't come to Egypt and talk about being Black and coming from Kemet and this and that, then they try to shut us down. And so we were like, okay, we'll go ahead and cancel it. Okay. We actually ended up rescheduling the whole trip. We canceled the conference, sort of like online. It looked like it was canceled, but we then decided to do One Africa, Power and Unity, because we understood that we can't do anything without working together. We don't have to like each other, and we don't even have to have the same views about things, but we do have to love each other and want us to be okay. And so we came up with One Africa, Power and Unity in Detroit, and we brought, we had about 13 scholars. Not everybody made the trip over to Detroit, but we had scholars that understood the importance of us standing together. And when we had all different types, you had Riza Islam, Sister Shahrazad Ali, Dr. Susan Tata, Professor James Small, Dr. Leonard Jeffries, Dr. Rosalind Jeffries, Jabari Ozazi, Baina Bello. Like, it was a mixture of everyone. Asar Imhotep, Dr. Alicia Watkins. And so, and Kaba Kabanine was in the house. And so when we, because it's important, we had young and old, people from all different walks of life, but talking about this power and unity. So family, I really need for you guys to be, very conscious about the division that's trying to go on right now within our people. And so we just have to be conscious of that. But you can still, if you didn't see the live stream, or if you were not in the house in Detroit, there you go. You can get the copy, One Africa, and it's $20. Okay. Now, I'm not trying to look in nobody's pocketbook, but it's $20. And, it's worth it. It's 12. It's like actually almost 13 hours of footage. It's the whole thing. So we didn't leave anything out. And it's nicely put together. But please, family, if you can, please support and get One Africa. And you can even rent it. I don't know why you would rent it. It's better just to get your own copy. But there you go. $20, One Africa. It's really worth the, sit down with your family. Okay, family, that's enough of me talking. This is going to be, I can't wait to sit down with with Dr. Valentine. So without further ado, Dr. Valentine. Hey, how you doing?
I'm fine, beloved, and yourself.
I'm great. I'm so happy this worked out. Um, and you know what? And you know what? Actually, I get to, oh, I don't know because you were just on the show, so I don't know if the show said anything, but I get to be the person that gives you the first like pre happy birthday because your birthday is tomorrow. So see, I was like, see, we get to be the first. That's what's up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um,
I'm 70.
wow. No, let me tell you, you guys are getting it in. None of y'all, look, you don't even move like you're in your whatever that was you said. You don't even look like you're God, that's what's up. So see, family, listen, this is why we have to listen to our elders, especially when they looking this good and moving this good, because they must know something, that we have to you know, that we need to know. So yes, yes, yes.
Thank
Okay, yeah, I have to get some of these these comments in here because yeah, I think everyone feels the same way about we can't be divided and conquered. Have you heard the conversation about FBA and Pan-Africanism? Have you been listening to those things that's been happening?
I've heard a little bit about the schism that's been going on, and I look at it as a passing, almost like a kind of a cold or a flu. We'll get over it, and usually when there is that type of cleansing that comes to the surface, we begin to examine what are the mechanisms of that division. And of course, there, after that, you get the wiser and the more calm heads who say, okay, you see what we're doing to each other. We're stronger together than we are apart. And our contentiousness is against the wrong adversary. And that the adversary essentially stays in the shadows while we fight against one another and they reap the benefits of that conflict. So, yeah,
Mm,
the fact
mm,
that we're examining it now is good. Just like any other healing modality, usually when we go through a healing crisis, it's not a very pleasant thing. So now we're actually, throwing up or bringing to the surface all the things. And usually it's generational, something
mm,
that's handed down. And when it stops here, and we could teach the next generation what it is that we did incorrectly. If you don't know history, you're doomed to repeat it, type of thing. So I think that the next generation will get it if we take the time to teach it.
mm. Mm. You know what? Listen, that's why I appreciate you guys coming on and taking the time to teach us. Like really taking time. And I know, sometimes and I see you like on quite a few people's, net shows. And so it's like this is like you have a straight up career and job. You're writing books, you're leading your medical organization, but yet you are still like right now, 10 o'clock at night online trying to make sure that we get information. So I really appreciate that.
Give thanks. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
I
like
think I take that from my elders, like my brother elders, Dr. Small, and Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, who was my mentor. These people were hardworking warriors who stood the front. So I mean, what they put in to help me to come
mm,
into the knowledge of self. I mean, I would be remiss to drop or let that flame go out. And so that drives me, and I can only do my best, once I close my eyes. What have I done? What have I given back for all that I've received? And I'm hoping that young people can pick up that torch and move it forward.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely, yes, yes. Okay, you know what? I swear. My kids make fun of me because they said the only thing they ever hear me saying during these interviews is like, yes, yes, yes. But it's just like there's nothing else I can say other than yes, because I am so I'm just very appreciative,
Thanks.
that you're taking the time out. So, all right there. Yay, happy birthday. That's gonna be like all night. Um, so let's just get started with. So, our conversation we're going to have tonight is about spirituality and its relationship with economics. Okay. And so, there's mm, so many ways that we're going to go, but let me just start with the first question about that I think we need to get started with. Can you just explain to us what is spirituality?
Well, it's a shift in perception.
Mm.
What I teach my students. Um, Everything is spirit, but the physical flesh grounds us in the senses. So our senses tend to dictate what we believe to be reality in life. That's because the cacophonous noise and the activity of the body and the appetites of the body, the needs of the body tend to take over and kind of crowd out the silence necessary for us to actually know that other part of ourselves, which is the spiritual part. See, that part that whispers is the spirit. And because we have so much noise in our head, because our thoughts are so cacophonous and noisy, we don't hear those very sublime whispers from that voice within. And that's the spirit talking to us. But we're not silent enough. And when I teach in my university that silence is intelligence, and intelligence and silence, that becomes the conduit or the atmosphere necessary for you to access what we call the spirit. But it's all in us, what we have as that little voice, what we call intuition. It's always a shift in perception. If we can learn to quiet the noise that we have in our head that we call our thoughts, that loop that keeps looping upon itself, that noise that we have in our heads about what we don't have, what we can have, what we are suffering from, that ache in our back, that ache in our bellies, that ache in our head, all of these things that keep us focused into the temporal world. Once once we can still that and quiet it, then that silence is the door to that world that we call the spirit.
Mm. Mm. That's a good explanation. So now, when did you start to listen to the whispers, or when did you notice that you had whispers, and then when did you start actually listening to them?
I'm not sure when it started, but I do know that my shift came very violently. I drowned and died, and I was brought back to life by this fisherman who got me out of the ocean. I lived in Trinidad. I'm Trinidadian, and the tides where we lived down in Mayaro, between that little place between Venezuela and the tip of Trinidad, is a very violent current that sometimes happens, and I got caught in it. Well, I was rescued and I brought back, and there was this place that I went to that was very calm, very peaceful. And it was the Little Death that, and then the women there, because it was almost like an African village there, uh, and the women there who were like Baptists, they were dressed all in white. What happened was they buried me by the ocean overnight up to my neck, and I think I was like 7 years of age, and they stayed around me all night, and I felt the earth, everything was working me while I was buried, and then I was brought back out and bathed and baptized, and they told me I was special because I came back from death. So that was almost like a trigger that made me fearless and not fear anything after that, because I knew what the next step was once you leave the body. It's not what everybody thinks. So when I came from Trinidad to New York, it was almost like a culture shock. I was raised in a very communal environment where everybody shared everything. And that was something I had to learn how to become more selfish in my attitudes and so forth when I came to the Americas. So that, and a great physical thing that happened to me when I was vaccinated there, that almost killed me because I had to stay up during the night, because I couldn't breathe. I was breathing only through my mouth because I had to get enough oxygen to maintain. So all of these things that built up to that point when I had another challenge on my way to my house, when I fell to my knees and I spoke to whatever ancestors I hope would have listened and said, if I can make it to my home and die on my steps or live on my steps, if I live, I promise to share what I know that heals me to everybody, with everybody. And I got to there, and all of a sudden, it seems that I caught my breath, and everything began to open from that point forward. I began to know another gentleman by the name of Kanya Kakumba who had the Tree of Life, and he became my mentor at that particular time. And he taught me a lot of the things I know with Doctor, what's his name? I forgot his name, but it was Brother John Harris. I met there, and I mean, there was so many people. As soon as I made that promise, I made that affirmation. Doors started opening up for me to be able to heal myself. And so, what began as a music career, because I was very heavy into music at that time, almost had a contract with Electrosylum and Epic. Uh, Opened up for James Brown and the
Oh,
Statistics, and yeah, I did a lot of that music stuff. But during the time I was doing that, I would be backstage reading, studying metaphysics, different sciences. And one thing led to the next. And before I knew it, I would be sitting 6 o'clock in the morning on summer days, sitting on my stoop with my books, watching people going to work. And because I knew everybody on the block at that time, they would say, I would say, hey, how you doing? They would say, I'm good, but I got this pain here and I got this thing here. And they'll tell me all their problems. And I say, well, why don't you try this? Why don't you do this? Blah, 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 and so forth. And when they come back, I'd be there. They said, hey, that worked. And I said, oh, okay, great. So that became the stepping stone after the promise I gave to the ancestors that I would help people if I was to learn, if I was to be given the secrets of what it was to heal myself. And with that, after 35, 40 years, I've helped, I've got over 35 godchildren from women that doctors said couldn't have children, not me, but their family. I have all these godchildren that they said you could be the godfather because you're the one who told us what to do and so forth. And then, of course, I hooked up with Sister, Queen Afua, and she and I were married at one point, and we built up the Heal Thyself Center, and together I helped her to put together um, the Sacred Woman. I wrote these 12 principles of the Sacred Woman for her. And then after that, when we were dealing with women who had a lot of problems with fibroids, I wrote the book Wounded Womb. And the book Wounded Womb now became very popular because everything that you see, Kevin Samuels and all of these red pills and all of that was in the book some 25, 30 years ago. And so happy that people are now picking up on it, even if they have read the book, but they actually began to open up and do those things. And of course, that's all I've been doing, passing the information on. Sometimes controversial. Most people, they look at
wait. Oh, wait. I can't hear you. Wait, can anybody else? Wait. Oh, no. Oh, I can't hear you. Are you on mute? Is it me?
yeah, I think somebody muted me.
Oh, okay, there you go. I can hear you now.
Okay, good. Well, that's about it. I'm just rambling right now. I mean, I could go on forever with all kind of nonsense about happening.
Okay, I'm sorry. You talked about dying a couple of times, writing books, creating all these things. That's not rambling. It's so funny that you talk about the wounded womb because Dr. Ken Harris, and I see him in the chat. He runs the National Business League. Okay, Booker T. Washington's legacy. He's the current president, and he was like on here at 8 o'clock. Like I'm waiting for Dr. Valentine, and so then I was like, well, no, we changed the time, and so he sent me like you can't see the picture. He was like, this is the book, and I was like, oh my god, and he was like, oh yeah. He's like, he the truth. He's like, I got so much respect for Dr. Valentine. So he was like amped. I tell you, that's why I love our HAPI audience. I know we got to share our HAPI audience with other people, but you guys are just phenomenal. The text messages and things that y'all leave, but people were so, excited to have you here tonight. So, so yes. So people are picking up on your book, The Wounded Womb. All right. So
if I may, very quickly, I want to make a caveat since you talked about the book. Be very careful about going up on Amazon and purchasing it.
okay.
Because a lot of people who call me tell me that they're charging like $450. One person said it was $750, and there was The Wounded Womb. And I said, well, doctor, I can't afford your book. Why is it so expensive? When I went up, I found out because I did not file my book with the government to get a ISBN number.
Uh-huh.
It's considered a rare book. So it's in the rare book category. And what happens is there are people who search the sites to find rare books. So they purchase the book, and then private collectors sell it at these prices. So you have to be very careful about where you go to purchase the book. You have to go to Lulu, LULU.com.
Okay, wait, LULU.com.
So when you go to LULU.com, in the search box, put Wounded Womb, Philip Valentine, and that will put you into the purchase page where my publisher essentially would make you a brand new book. In other words, we don't hold inventory there on that site. What they do is they print a brand new book for you once you make the order.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, there it is, guys. Lulu. Thank you for that. That's what's up.
Just
yeah, because I was just reading the byline under the book, and it says the suppressed truths behind the anatomy, metaphysics, politics, and economics of women's diseases.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is, I don't know. When did you write this book? What year did you write this book?
I wrote the book it started in 1984, 85.
Okay.
And it grew exponentially because I began to add on. It was actually a workbook for women who we were working with Afua, Queen Afua. And it was like a workbook that we put out to women to do A, B, and a third. And what I had to do was, okay, people were saying, well, this, that, and, where are you getting all this information from? All of this seems to be folklore. I said, listen, I wrote this book by sitting at the feet of elder mothers, elder grandmothers, and grand-aunts. My godmother was Amy Bell Olatunji's wife. That was my godmother. And she was the one tutoring me and telling me all about women and what girls are in reference to young women, and young women are to elders. And I got all the nature and all the things, and I began putting together the metaphysical pieces based on culture and based on the occult, based on all spirituality. And the book itself is actually a testament of my love for women, not hatred. And a lot of the women who read it, who were very feminist in nature, began to castigate me. And so during the 90s, I got a lot of flack back from what I was teaching. Not them realizing that today, everything that I was saying back then is exactly what it is that's been going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I asked you when you write it, because I was like, well, that's like still going on right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, once you deal with the metaphysical world, you're dealing with a continuity that is inevitable. So you watch what happens today, and there's an inevitability at the end of the line. So you can write about the inevitability based upon the symptoms of today. You see.
So, and you know what, family? Let me make sure I put these up, because Dr. Valentine has a lot of information and places. Because you said some key words when you were talking about being godfather to a bunch of kids. And I was like, because that's something that a lot of Black women now are having a hard time with, is conceiving and really holding on to a baby. So that's they need to come check you.
Well, it's so interesting. I delivered my grandchild. I delivered my son as well, and it's you have to be there to know what it is, not only what woman is been constructed to do, and the incredible, you have a whole other uh, appreciation for the feminine energy,
Mm.
and what I see at the end of the book. I speak about please regain the throne of the feminine, of the ultra, of the alpha feminine, because at this point she stepped off the throne to become us, and to assume the power of the male. And I hear women who call me and tell me, I have my own house, I have my own car, I got CEO level this, three six figures. I said, men don't care about that. I've always said that for the last 30 years. We don't care what you can make and that money and so forth. And men who do that are one who usually weren't trained to be men and were raised by women.
Mm.
So a man who wants a woman to take care of him, not in the way that I'm talking about him not doing the things and kind of leaning on a woman, that man has not been trained in man. He has not had manhood training. And the thing about it is, I got a lot of flack for that, because of the single mothers who did raise sons and successfully, but that's not a family. They call it single parent family. There's no such thing as a single parent family. That is a survival unit. That's
Mm.
not a family. And so when I spoke about the fact that it's a survival unit, that all have to be participating to call it family, and what feminism did to destroy that particular cohesion in the family. Now we're now examining it. They were doing all kind of anal probes on it when I was putting it in the wounded womb. I even talked about what we call parasitic parenting, when today it's now coming out that there are over 3.5 million fathers who are raising children that are not their own. I spoke about that 20 years ago, that a lot of women are being very deceitful, and they're having men thinking they're going out about it. And the thing about feminism, what it did was it began to show all of the worst sides of the feminine principle. And I was saying to women, I'm showing you this is what it is, so that you could understand that the more you put yourself out there like that, the more you're going to come under the scrutiny of men. And so I said, you have to understand that men are the problem solvers of civilization. When we are problem solvers, women are problem staters. They state the problem, we solve it. So
Mm.
now the last thing we wanted to do was to solve you.
Mm.
We kept you in this place of mystery, and that's why we erect these enormous statues and all of these incredible poetry and music that was written to you. Is because of the mystery of you. And now you put yourself out there, and all of the worst starts coming out to show what it is. And they say if you want to degrade a civilization, degrade its women. And that's exactly what they have. They've adopted the argument of the white woman, thinking
Mm.
it's her argument.
That's
And
true.
all of a sudden, now the white woman has left you out there.
Mm.
She's gone on to marry and do all the things that she needs. No. And now you got Cardi B talking to the president as if she is the ambassador for women, for the young women now. And no, no. I look at it this way. It's tough love. The wounded womb is tough love, but
Mm.
it's still love.
It's still love.
Mhm.
I gotta get a copy of this. Wow. We having a wrong conversation, Dr. Valentine, tonight.
I
That
know.
means you listen, I'm gonna get this book, I'm gonna read it, then you gotta come back on so we can have a conversation
Yeah.
about this. Yeah, you said a lot of powerful things right there in your last answer. And I just want to, before we move on, I just want to just ask a little bit more about this idea of the wounded womb. So how does the wounded womb impact like like the economics of women?
The economics itself is the amount of money that you're spending on wigs and all kinds of hair extensions, putting on all kinds of plaster on the face, doing all kinds of things to your breasts, to your buttocks. You're doing all the things that they have commercialized by telling you you don't look good, you don't smell good, you don't have anything that is worthy, or no black man would want you unless you got blonde hair streaking down from your head. All of this nonsense is based upon the economics. And I don't talk about just physical economics. I'm talking about my metaphysical and psycho-spiritual economics, because they're robbing your attention. And what do? You pay attention. And what have they done? They've taken the attention of our women, and they have now converted it and given you back a drug. And that drug itself that you're taking, which makes you believe, the drug is, I'm not good enough unless I do this or I look like this. And I see some of these beautiful sisters who got these Japanese fans for eyelashes, that they can actually get a good breeze going up in a hot house and cool the place down with just blinking. They look one way, and they're into this deceit, not only of the men they're trying to impress, but themselves. And they without the men in the home anymore, there's no way to teach young girls what it's like and how a man. See, the men were supposed to be there to keep all of these F boys off of these young girls and teach them. With no men there, essentially the same mistakes the mothers make, the young girls are making at this particular time.
Yeah.
So, I look at beautiful sisters like yourself. You have the minimal amount. All you've done is just accentuate what's there without destroying what's there.
This lipstick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because I'm like, yeah, it's too much to be doing. That's too much.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
That's just,
Listen, if I see you and the way you look a certain way, and I fall in love with that, when I wake up next to something else, I'm gonna say, who the hell are you? No, that's not you.
Yeah.
You see, I'm old school. A woman, essentially, she is the beauty that I see in my eyes. I don't care what she looks like. Okay, if she's enhancing it gently for me to see, like for instance, most people don't know what the lipstick means. People don't understand that when you put on specific lipstick, it's to match the vulva when it's sexually excited. And that is, if you open the vagina at sexual excitement, it is very blushed, it's red. So it's the attention that you're bringing to the man that, hey, guess what? This is what this is just me telling you, if I like you, boom. So a lot of what it is women do to think that they're enhancing, they're hiding, masking. So I keep telling our sisters that less is more. When the time comes, you have to understand that less is more. And of course, I look at it this way. Men are visual, very visual, and women today believe that the overemphasis of the visual is what's going to catch our eye. That may catch a certain type of man's eye. But those men who are mature, the one that you want, they're looking to see what it is you're going to look like down the road. And after you take all of that mask off, after you take off that war paint, okay, all that clown makeup, deal with a circus. It looks like you're on the way to a circus. Once you're out of that, beloved sister, that's the you. When you're out the heels, when you're out of the heels, when you're out of everything else, what do you think of yourself in that mirror? And of course, everything in society tells all women that they're not good enough. When they're having their menstrual cycle, do you smell right? Are you going to offend somebody? So let's make sure you have all this perfume stuff slapped against the vagina. It's all of this thing. How about your underarms? Smell fresh, and they show you a smiling girl because she has this new deodorant on, which means all the people around her, especially the men, are smiling, so she must smell right. It's crazy. And
Oh,
women are
that sugar is killing
susceptible.
her.
Well, sisters are very, very self-conscious. You all are very self-conscious about your look. You all are so easily fooled into believing that you're not good enough.
Mm, mm.
And
So,
that's your susceptibility. Mhm.
yeah. So obviously, I mean, you're not the man that we're talking about that's helping women feel this way.
No, no.
No.
I'm more of the daddy that's saying, "Where the hell are you going?" I remember with that skirt. I remember my daughter, beautiful as she is, used to go out. She says, "I said, mother and I were going, and I says, where's she going?" He says, "Well, he's outside. He's waiting. What is that she has on?" I said, "No, no, no. She's not leaving the house with that." And of course, she looked at me like Mookie looked at me like, what's wrong? I said, "Now, this is what they're all wearing." I said, "They're not wearing it in this house." So I said, "You go back in, you put something on that is not going to endanger your escort." And she says,
Mm.
"What do you mean?" I said, "You look like that, and they're going to have some fool out there that's going to challenge your man at some point. You can never know. The way you look essentially will attract idiots,
Mm.
fools." I've
Mm.
had to do that. I've had to knock somebody out because of that. Coming up and disrespecting, even though they're testing you. And there are men out there that will test other men to see whether or not they're alpha enough to protect their women. And I was. And so what happens now is you have to definitely teach that what Muhammad Ali told his daughter. He said, "Do you know where diamonds are?" He said, "Yeah." "Do you know where gold is?" She said, "Yes." "Where do you find it?" "Well, you find it deep inside of the earth." He says, "Well, would you consider them precious?" He said, "Yes." Well, Muhammad Ali told his daughter, "Well, all precious things are hidden deep.
Mm.
They're
Mm.
not exposed to the world." So you go out there and you put on the proper clothing, and no matter what it is, if the so-called F boys don't want to have nothing to do with you, you're lucky because those are not the ones you want.
Those are the
Because if you're going to, and the same thing with Dave Chappelle said something very good. He said, "Suppose I put on a police uniform and I want to walk around with a police uniform and I'm not a policeman. And you come along and say, somebody stole my car. Officer, officer, do something." "Well, no, you must be mistaken. I'm not a policeman." "Well, you dress like a policeman." She said, "Right." So this is what you're saying to her when women start talking about, just because I have these clothes on, I'm not a hoe. He says, "Well, you damn sure got the uniform."
Mm. Mm. Yeah, listen, you know what? I'm sitting here and my altar is behind me and and to my right, and my father's on there. And I'm just thinking when you were talking, I was like, oh hell, let me tell you, my dad did not play. I
Mhm.
mean, I wouldn't. There was just a way that I just knew I wasn't gonna do something, and I could just hear him saying, "Amen." That's your talking because he called it war paint, and I saw someone else said that about their father. I was like, "Yep, that the war paint, all of that." So testament to you, Daddy. That's what's up. That's what's up. So we got to get we it needs to be we need a book for men. So the ones not you,
Working
but
on it,
other men.
working on it, working on it.
Okay, good, good,
Called
good.
Path of the Virtuous Man. That'll come out soon, but I'm working on the next book, which is Cosmic Codex, Book of the Earth. See, Womb to Womb, if you look at the cover, it says Book 4. See, I have 7 books that I'm working on simultaneously. And if you look at the top, you'll see when you open it, it will say Book 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's Book 4 of 7. I was working on Book 1 when the emergency came up around women with fibroid tumors having those problems. And so I stopped Book 1 and began Book 4, which was The Wounded Womb. So I finished that first. Now I'm back with that. But number 7 is Path of the Virtuous Man.
Okay, yeah, I need to get there we go, a picture that Dr. Harris sent me of this book. Um, yeah, I can't wait to read this. This is oh, this is going to be good. I know you didn't come on and talk about this book, but this is really interesting because a lot of women, you're right. I mean, you kind of like just really laid it out, in terms of how we feel about ourselves and how it's predicated on this way that we think we're supposed to be looking, and to break away from that is it's pretty difficult because everywhere you turn, it's it's something telling you that no, 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 you're supposed to look
Right,
like this, or no,
right,
no, no, that's not good, and
right,
this and that. There you
right.
go. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
this is the book itself. You have to open actually to the first the page, the title page, and the title page has the number of the book itself. And I
okay.
want to make sure that is there, and hopefully everybody would purchase one. It's 79.95. It was a 1,500 pages, but I had to cut it down to 759, I believe.
Wow, so this is like a textbook.
Yeah, it is pretty much. It's a hardcover, actually.
Oh, okay. Okay, family, I'm gonna put this back um because you gave us the site is lulu.com
Indeed,
um to order it, and they'll make you a brand new one and send it to your house.
indeed.
Yep, right there, lulu.com. Okay. So, all right. So, this idea of spirituality and how it relates to our economics. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Yes. As far as spirituality is concerned, regarding economics, economics is mathematics. Mathematics is the way the universe works. And what happens is when we tune in to the flow of the universe and we understand that economics is an energy, it's an energy pattern. And we tune into that energy pattern by understanding the ups and downs and knowing when to go in at the down so that by the time the up comes back, your money begins to be worth it. So the spiritual part of economics is planning and plotting. They have this thing called the Fibonacci table, where they show you the red and green with the ups and downs of economics, for example.
Uh-huh.
They're mapping a mindset. The only way they could actually put that into a graph is if economics was a living thing. It's an energy pattern that can be mapped. Now, economics is based upon seasons, seasons of around the world, seasons within your own environment where you live, seasons within the demographics that you live in, seasons based upon whether you're black or white. All of these things are based upon the give and take, the buy and sell, which then becomes a template that they can measure. It has a life of its own. Most people who are successful, not just rich, but wealthy, understand the life pattern or the forensics or understand like the electrocardiogram. You ever notice when you look at a heartbeat on a right?
Mhm.
Well, economics works in that pattern as well. There are certain things like right now we're going into a very weak period where it's about to flatline. And that's when we're talking about now the Fed going into what we call a depression. And this the raising of the what they call the unemployment, raising of the taxes, raising and what you have as far as economic ebb and flow. What you do when you start raising the inflation, what you're doing essentially is lessening. You raise inflation, you cause inflation by printing more money, creating less value, and therefore causing the patient to actually lose their life slowly. In other words, it's a slow death to a particular cycle. And this is what we're having here. We're having a slow death cycle, whereas the Democrats, which we call the Social Democrats, are flooding the market in order to artificially keep it up, giving out all this money. But 50 and 30 and 60 billion is going over there to fight a war in the Ukraine, which essentially we're supporting Nazis.
Mm.
The Ukraine, the people who are in the Republican Guard of that particular regime are actually the Azov Nazis. They're the ones who trained out Antifa over here. So what you're watching essentially is Biden. Uh, he he owed the Chinese and he owed Burisma, the particular man who's running in. I'm just kind of going off things so I can tell people about the economics we're dealing with today. The head of the Ukraine was put in to power after Obama overthrew the democratically elected government before him. This man essentially is a fascist. He's a Nazi. But he struck a deal with Biden to get his son into this energy company called Burisma. Burisma paid him in order to get sight or to get in good with who they were going to deal with as the next president. So now, if Trump was there, they wouldn't be sending 50 and 30 and 60 billion over there to fight the Russians. Now, the reason why the Russians are actually invading is because there was a pact struck with NATO that they would not move their borders close to Russia. And Ukraine was going to be the buffer. But now you see NATO wants Ukraine, and so does Biden and Obama, because essentially Biden ain't the president. It's Obama with a third term.
Yeah.
So what you're watching now is the monies are now going over there to establish a foothold for the deep state, because Putin to Russia is like Trump is to America. It was Putin who first came out and called out the pedophiles in England, in America, and in Russia. It was Putin who kicked Rothschild out of Russia. The hate that they have for Putin and all the games that they're playing back and forth, even with Trump, is because he bucked the system like Trump did. So they had to steal this because they had to have this war in order to circumvent, because the economy was going to crash anyway. They had to have this war. If Hillary was in there, we'd have been already on the battlefield 4 years earlier, 8 years, 5 years, 6 years earlier. But because Trump came in with his New York swagger and topsy-turvy turned the whole thing around, the war was circumvented. He began to bring jobs back, which was what they didn't want, because they wanted to undermine the United States and bring us down. And so now we have a whole different kind of energy, whereas all of what we're getting ready to do, and of course we're going to deal with solutions, all of what's getting ready to happen is you're going to be paying like, $10 for a banana. It's going to get bad somewhat soon, but there are people working to try to circumvent that, so that it's still kind of, teeter-tottering. But be prepared, and this is why we're going to show you how to get prepared. All right? This is where your spirituality now must become your practicality. Okay? So the first thing you have to do is to stop taking sides and know that the side that you have to be on is not on the Democrats, not on the independents, not the Republicans, but on your side, the side of the spirit, the side of your family, the side of your community.
Yes.
Okay? The first thing you have to do is to get your food and your water together, start stocking it up. Network with people that are on your frequency, so that when everything hits the fan, you know that you could call and listen, I need this, and this, and here. Oh, you got it? Yeah, well, boom. Well, here, we're going to stash it here. We're going to put it here. It's going to come to that. We're hoping not, but it's going to come to that, because this is what they want. All right? Now, you got to move your money out of the banks. How do you move your money out of the banks? Well, a black woman, beautiful black woman by the name of Cynthia Petion, created something called Novatech. Now, she's been in the business of Forex, and she's been in the business of the Wall Street, the whole 9 yards, trades and the whole 9 yards for the last 20 years. She and her husband created it. Now, to stop her, they put out all kinds of, warnings. This is a scam. This is a blah, blah, blah. No, it ain't for me, because I did my due diligence on Novatech. You can move money into Novatech, and you can get to trades, because she trades. She trades on cryptocurrencies, and she trades on Forex, which is foreign exchange.
Okay.
The foreign exchange is where everything happens. So she trades on that, but she doesn't trade on the coins themselves. She trades on the buying and the selling of those coins. So she's tapping into the energy, not the end result. She's tapping into the process, and she's rolling on the process. So everybody's buying and they're selling. Okay. So
Okay.
what she's done now is she's opened it up. She's traveling over Africa and India. She's all over the place right now trying to get peoples of color on board. There's a lot of white folks that are on her stuff at tip too. This is, I don't know if this is rumor, but the dude who was um, the guy who was the past CEO of Twitter,
Okay.
right? I forgot his name. I guess
Yeah, when Trump was in office, I remembered him. I don't know
right.
now.
The guy, his name, he gave her $10 million. This is what I heard, not to fail.
Mm.
So what you have now is a system in place that trades every week and gives you, depending on the amount you put in, anywhere between 2 and 5% on your deposit. You
Wow.
get a dividend at the end. You get that bonus, they call it. And then what you do at the end of the week, you fold. Thank you, Jack Dorsey. Thank you, beloved. You fold that bonus back into your principal. So now you're actually trading at a higher level than you did in the previous week. And people said people are adding more and more monies so that their dividends at the end is coming back. She also invests in ATM. Yeah. But I'll tell you which ones you need to invest in. If you're into cryptocurrency, you listen to me and listen to me real good. You go with the ones for truth with use case. The only ones that have use case, and I'm going to give you the ones that I'm dealing with. And the reason why I'm saying this to you is everything we're dealing with right now is what I call a compelled benefit. In other words, you have no choice.
Mm.
You don't have control. You don't make money. You don't print money. How much gold do you have? I tell people get gold, buy gold, in lumps and put it away. But also you can buy gold by going up to Glint, Glint, GlintPay, PAY.com, GlintPay.com. GlintPay is out of Switzerland. They're selling gold out of Switzerland, and it's backed by Lloyd's of London. It's insured by Lloyd's of London. Now, once you get into Glint, okay, not GOLD.
I said go. You know, I was typing so fast because I'm like, what's going on over here? Okay, wait,
No
let me
problem,
type it.
beloved.
Go ahead.
So what happens is you can buy gold and spend gold on Glint. In other words, you upload your fiat and then convert your fiat to these grams of gold. Now, when I put my monies in, when the gold went up, the fiat I put in to buy the gold went up as well. Okay? So gold is going to fluctuate. Now, gold has got to deal with the new system that's in place. I'm talking the quadrillions of dollars that are sitting there in escrow around the world. All of that has to be dealt with. So gold has to cover all of that. Right now, the public price they give us is BS. The public price is crap. If you want to know what gold is really worth,
Mm-hmm.
you go up where it says, hold on, let me see that. I just had a brain freeze. It'll come back to me.
Okay, but we go on Glint Pay to find out how much gold really is.
Well, no, you don't.
We're going to a different place.
Yeah, you have to go to a different place. You have to go up to. Oh, why is it? Where is that?
It's gonna come.
It's running in the back. It's trying to hide from me, but it's all right. But if you go there, you will see that gold is actually about $14,500 an ounce. Whereas if you go up to any of the places or exchanges where you buy gold, you'll see it's like 2,300. That's the price that they give to the public. The private price of gold is up around 14,000. The private price of silver is up around $4,000 and $5,000 an ounce. They give silver at maybe $10 or $20 or $50 or $100 an ounce or even less. But the fluctuating prices of precious metals, that's where everything goes. Don't go for any of the other crap. Now, as far as cryptocurrencies is concerned, the cryptocurrencies you want to deal with are the ones that have what is known as use case. Okay, and the one that has the greatest use case right now is XRP. XRP is going to be the bank coin, the interledger between all of the. This guy is really ahead of me. Beautiful.
Yeah, King Khufu's getting it in.
Yes, Brother Kufu, Anyway, you have the interledger, which is the connecting of all the central banks. Now, this is going to take away our freedom. That's the real deal. But the interledger is connecting all of the central banks, and XRP is going to help circumvent what is known as the SWIFT system. The SWIFT system is what's been in place for the last 70 years, and that's a slow system. Say if I wanted to send money from South Africa to Finland, it means that Finland has to hold on to the rand of South Africa so that that transaction is actually secured and insured and will reach over to Finland, and that person will get the money that they asked for. Okay? So what you're looking at this point is the XRP, instead of it taking a week, 4 days, 3 days to get from South Africa over to Finland, it takes 3 seconds. So what you have is a use case so that this interbanking system now that they're setting up is going to be immediate. You get your money right away. Now, XRP is for the big banks. Okay? XLM, as you saw it flash there, is for like the MoneyGrams. It's like for the for PayPals and that we're the common people amongst us.
Okay.
XBC are going to be for when you're dealing with contracts, intercontracts, or contracts online and so forth. Quant, I love Quant. I got Quant. Now, Quant is going to be the new Bitcoin. Why? Because Quant has less coins. The less coins you have, the more valuable it is. Okay? Bitcoin, don't even think about it. You can go ahead and try to get into it. It'll probably go up to be about a 500,000, whatever it is. But it's going to go the way, once they find out who built Bitcoin. They say the Russians did it, but I believe that the Five Eyes did that. I did a thing on, the Five Eyes, which is these are the intelligence communities of 5 countries.
Oh,
And
okay.
the Satoshi Nakamoto, they talk about. Satoshi Nakamoto, if you were to break that down in the kanji language, it comes out to being central intelligence. That's what the name breaks down into that. If you deal with the kanji and the katakana language of the Japanese. But I believe that Quant, which is going through the roof right now, I think it's up. I bought it, say, down around when it was like $25, $30. It's up to $150 something now. And it's going to go through the roof because it's going to take the place of Bitcoin, which is like up to $34,000 a coin. Algorand is another one dealing with the interledgers and with the, if I'm not mistaken, the operability of contracts in between one and the other, the settling of contracts. But the one thing about XRP is settlement. It may be able to transfer the money, but it will also deal with settlement of debt. Okay?
Okay. Wait.
I know. There's a lot.
Okay. Wait. I got to get my thoughts together because we got to back up some.
Sure.
Yeah, we got to back up some. But before I say that, family, make sure you are like.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. The debt clock. Thank you, Ahmed. That's the one. www.debtclock.com.
Okay.
And you will see things in real time. Now go over to the right side of the debt clock, all the way to the right column, and you will see the real price of gold and silver. Thank you. Yes, the debt clock.
Okay.
Just put it into your Google and put debt clock, and it'll get you click it and it'll put you right in there, and it opens up on the screen, and you'll see a whole bunch of lights and movements of numbers all over. And up in the top left-hand corner, you will see the actual debt of the United States of America, which is up in the trillions. And over to the right, very right, you will see the actual price that Wall Street uses as the price for gold and silver.
Okay. All right. Family, please like and share this video. we about to slow Dr. Valentine down, because I mean, look, I ain't no big time stock person. So I was sitting here like, okay, wait, you had me in the beginning. And I was like, wait. I was like, you're losing me. But family, please make sure you are liking and sharing this video, because this is practical information. This is not just theory, but this is merging theory with practicality. You said spirituality is practicality.
Yes.
So yeah, family, you've got to make sure you are sharing this video, like it and sharing and comment this video. It's very, very important. You have to send it to at least 3 other people. Okay, this is how we start to, create this financial community, independent community that we keep talking about, which is part of our platform, the HAPI movement. It consists of 4 principles. Number 1, love Black people. Number 2, support Black businesses. Number 3, be astute with your money. And number 4, teach the youth the truth. Right here, Dr. Valentine is laying down all 4 of these in one session. So make sure you are liking and sharing this video. And please, if you could, hit us up on the Cash App Love. We need to start having where you can just buy us crypto. Just hit the little button and buy crypto for us. But you can send us some happy love on the Cash App. If you are on YouTube, you can hit the super chat. If you are on Facebook, you can buy stars. And thank you, because the money that you give to us goes back to our movement, which is ran by Black people that look just like us, and Dr. Valentine. So, it's really important that you guys, contribute when you can. And if you cannot, because again, I'm not going to be in your pocketbook, I am saying make sure you like and share this video, because that's easy and it's free. And subscribing to us. Those things are other ways that we can start to, to make money and continue to do what we do. All right. Okay.
Okay. Let me just say this.
Yes.
When you get your XRP, when you get your quant, do not convert it back to fiat. I'm not.
No, this is language we don't understand right now.
Okay. I'll tell you, fiat is the dollars you have in your hand.
Okay. So wait, where do we go to buy? So we contact Reggie.
Right. Well, no. Reggie is not the one for the cryptocurrency. You can go to Uphold, uphold.com.
Okay.
Uphold.com. Yeah.
Uphold.com. So we go here.
Yeah, okay. That's where you can purchase your XRP. You can't actually purchase right now. Why? Because there's a case against Ripple. Ripple is the one who actually pulls out the coin XRP, and there's a case against the SEC, which is trying to suppress it because the people involved were actually working with Bitcoin and were working with Ethereum. And so these Ethereum and Bitcoin crowd, those maxis, now have this guy Gensler, who's the head of the SEC, who sued them and said that they were actually selling securities. I don't want to get into it, but It suppressed the price here. And as a result, you can actually purchase the XRP for like 35 cents right now, and 45 cents, maybe 50 cents a coin. And the XLM is only 11 cents. XDC is 2 and 3 cents. So you should stock up on all of those right now. See, Cynthia, she went to saw the dead clock. Check that out. So what I was saying to you is, once you get your XRP from Uphold, know that you have to hold it for 65 days. That's the only thing that they're dealing with right now. 65 days. And then you can actually do what you want to do with it after you have 65 days. But I would say to you, get yourself a distinct private wallet where you can take your materials and put it off grid so that they can't get at it. But that's another story. We could probably do that for another time.
Yeah, you coming back? I mean, you coming back? Like this ain't no way. Like okay, but go ahead. Okay.
So what I would suggest you do as you bank up your materials right now, because again, just like Noah built a ship because he knew about the impending flood, know about the dry spell. When it was a flood there's going to be a dry spell. It's going to be a drought. So what you do is you You make sure that you get your cryptocurrency, but then you stake it later on, because what they're doing is the banks are going to want that XRP. They're going to want those cryptocurrencies to do business with. So you can actually open up a staking house with them, and then you could stake. You could say, okay, I got 50 or 50,000 XRP. I want to stake that for what it's going to be worth, and then you can live off of the dividends that comes with the bank utilizing that particular portion. It's like putting it into a trade and then living off of that forever and for your family, because that's what the new banking system is going to be about. Okay, so I would say to you, learn more. Okay, here's another place you can go to. When you're on YouTube, look up uh, digital perspectives.
Okay, you said digital.
Perspectives. Okay,
Okay.
look up digital asset investor.
Okay.
These two, digital perspectives and digital asset investor, are the two that actually keep you abreast on what's going on with XRP and all the other types of cryptocurrencies. But the ones that Brother Kufu had put up there, the ones that he put up there, those are the best for you to get right now. And the XRP, XLM, XDC. There's also Cardano, which is ADA, and Quant, which is QNT,
Yeah.
and then Algorand, which is ALGO. These are the ones that are going to be utilized, because there's over like 15,000 um, coins right now, or cryptocurrencies, more than that going up, maybe even 20, 30, 40,000. And they're going to be wiped out because they're just scams to get money. And
Mm.
once there's regulations placed in the market, because that's what this whole thing is about, trying to get regulations in order to do business. And of course, what I'm saying here can be studied and will be understood. It sounds like Chinese arithmetic right now, beloved, but it
Yeah.
will make sense to you.
You're
Trust me.
looking at I think you're looking at my face. You're like, excuse me,
Yeah,
guys.
I know. I like to, I just like to drop you in the deep end of the ocean, and I know that you'll find a way to swim back to shore. But
Yo, like as I'm sitting there listening to you, I'm like, I'm thinking about my boat. I'm thinking about my oars,
yeah,
because this is something, that we can't. Yeah, family, we got to move on. And we talk a little bit about cryptocurrency in HAPI,
yeah.
right? We don't go into as much detail, but we do talk about it as, something that we need to, that we need to look at as something viable in terms of bringing financial stability back to our community. So so happy that you came on here and shook us up. But as you didn't really maybe I'm the only one you shook up, because everyone else up in this chat is chiming into what they have and what they, oh yeah, I do this and da da da. So I guess I'm only slow one, but that's okay. I'm
No,
gonna
it's all right.
book, and I'm
All
gonna
right.
look up these two things on on YouTube. That's what's definitely gonna
Yeah,
happen.
yeah. You remember, everything is, we are not controlling anything, which is why I tell people, to make sure that you understand the politics and economics of our system at this particular time. What I mean is, we don't have any power over the finance or the dollars that are being spent and being used at this time. We can only play the game based on the rules that they've created to play. You understand? So if you want to, if we had land and we had our own autonomy, we had our own army, we had our own resources like oil and gold, then we could deal with it. Now, Zimbabwe, everybody needs to kind of turn their eyes over to Zimbabwe and deal with something called the ZIM, which is the dollar that they had, and they will see what happens with that Zim note that they've been selling. We'll see what happens when they flip the switch for the new economic system that's going to go in place. The one you don't want is the WEF, the World Economic Forum. That's that Klaus Schwab. That's that Nazi. His father was a Nazi. That's the dude that's talking about you will own nothing and be happy. That's the credo for that. But just stay away from those kinds of mentalities. I say right now we're in a guerrilla survival mode. When you fight guerrilla, you use the weapons of the enemy by surprising them, conquering them, taking what they have and turning it against them. So right now, since we don't have an economy, we don't have land, we have to play the game the way they have structured it. Now, to get ahead of it, I'm giving you all the ways to get ahead of it. Buy gold, buy silver, buy copper, because copper is going to be necessary. Okay, they right now in Zimbabwe they're using gold coins. They're actually minting their own gold coins. So what you want to learn is get gold and pack it away for yourself. Go up online to glintpay.com and buy gold so that you can use it when they shut down the banks or when they have what is called a banker's holiday. You can go and you can still get your monies from an independent source that's not a bank. And that's where you have to now shift your monies. You have to know how to play the game in order to survive what's to come. I'm not trying to get anybody to tell anybody to follow me anywhere. Do your own due diligence. I might be wrong, but I know that what I've done so far is tried and true. That Glint Pay, I heard on in Digital Asset or Digital Perspectives. When I checked into it, I found out it was legit, super legit.
So, what's interesting, as I'm sitting here listening to you, and I'm just thinking about history and how, in terms of, you know, as Black people, there's a lot of our elders who are not in a position monetarily wise because they didn't, they were thinking about the movement and not necessarily thinking about the economic piece of that movement. And something you said is so key when you were talking about politics. And because one of the things about the HAPI, the movie, is that we the documentary, we look at this merging of economics, politics, and culture, and we need all three to be successful. So one thing I can say that I just appreciate you talking about is giving us a way to for us to be okay as we get older. And it is something because this is like a lot of us that are just not okay financially and really have no clue, but worked all our lives.
Yes, yeah, that's the painful part of it, beloved.
Yeah.
They're going to try to circumvent people power. The people who are stealing it, the people power is the true power. They know how to manipulate us based upon what they give us as the perception of reality. So worth and value is what they're giving as worth and value. And we have no way of saying, no, this is what worth and value is. So we have to deal in, whoever wins the war is the one who sets the terms of how that culture will go. So what is necessary, like for instance, I see somebody talking about social credit. That's another form of control. In other words, if you don't do A, B, and a third, or by the end of the week, you're not dealing with so-called A, B, and a third, what happens then? They tell you no, that you can't buy. They shut down your bank account. They tell you your children can't go to school. This is how they're going to control you. And this is why I tell people to be very cautious about becoming more autonomous, off grid, doing things that you can take care of yourself once they shut down the public coffers. You have to understand that what they want is control. There's no such thing as overpopulation. There's no such thing as global warming. The world goes through its own fever and comes back its own self. All of this is crap. It's garbage. You can fit all 7 billion people in Texas. 7 billion people can actually fit in Texas with an acre of land and a house. It's garbage. In fact, the mean number and percentage of humans being born has dropped precipitously. We're in minus population growth right now, and that was unheard of in the Black community.
Yeah.
So where is this population explosion and all of this? No, what they want to do is to kind of consolidate us into these cities. They don't want us spread out. They want us up. So now you're going to see all these fancy cities are going to be going up. China has hundreds of thousands of buildings that they've built and nobody's living in them. And this is what they want to do: consolidate people into cities, and then rewild. I talked about this 10 years ago. They want to rewild America. They want to bring elephants. They want to bring giraffes. They want to make here like there.
What would
They
be the
want,
purpose?
let me tell you something. They wanted to Detroit. The reason why they let Detroit go to hell is because they were going to bulldoze all the cities and turn it into a pasture, where they were going to turn Detroit into a meat or pasteurized. In other words, Detroit will be serving as the growers of cattle for milk and dairy.
So you know what? I'm actually from Detroit,
Yes.
and I remember, God, I'm trying to think who said that before, and I remember everyone like in the family was like, "What the hell are they talking about?" Like blah blah blah. So, but that's wow. Hearing you say that right now is really
Yeah.
quite
It's
interesting.
Agenda 2030 and Agenda 2050. I did. I don't know. Maybe some of your family members actually saw my webinars I did on Agenda 2030 and Agenda 2050 and
Yeah,
what we're heading to.
around. Wow, wow. Oh my God. So listen, family, we have to do a couple. Let me get some information up here for Dr. Valentine. So make sure you guys stay connected to him. Um, right there, that's all services you can leave a message, and he'll get back to you, or somebody from his staff. Um, this whole idea of healing yourself. Uh, I mean, listen, we have so many diseases in our community right now. So this right here is a good resource for everyone to have. And so what about like, do you have any type of resource for your financial piece? I mean, is that just something you just do on the side, or do you have like a outlet where you're talking about the finances like on a regular basis?
No, what I do is everything I do is private for me first before I
Okay.
come to the public. And if I've seen it for a year work for me, I've been into crypto for like the last couple of years, ever since it started back in 2015. And I looked into it because of Bitcoin. And as a matter of fact, it was back in, I was told about Bitcoin back in the 90s when they were working for it, when they were working with it. And when I started to investigate what cryptocurrency was about, I dipped and dabbed, but I didn't put my money into anything until I found out what the heck was this going to be about. And then I discovered Ripple and what is called X Rapid. That's where XRP came from. And it was about bridging communications between banks and settling, passing money from one place to the next and speeding up the process. So when I said that made a lot of sense, and then somebody called me, a good friend of mine by the name of Todd. He called me, and he told me that his partner said you should get into XRP, and I said, let's go with it. And so I hit it up and then I've been purchasing little pieces, just taking a little 10, 20, $50, $100 here that I have that's loose change. And instead of buying anything that I did not need, I would, I would put it into the cryptocurrency and feather my nest, so to speak. And then I would ask people, if they were generous enough to help me, because what I have always goes back out to the community. I tell them to go to my PayPal, and if they wanted to drop a couple of coins in there, that I would appreciate it. And if they still want to do that to help me to actually build that, just go to Kemet Earth,
Yeah.
Kemet.
Okay. Wait. I'm gonna put this one on the banner. Okay. And
Okay.
this is for your Cash App, or wait, what is this
No,
for?
no, no. They shut down my Cash App after I did do a Brother Rich's thing, and I dropped some jewels there, and they shut down my Cash App. They actually sent me and told me, "Thank you. We no longer need your services. Your this." And I'm saying, "What? They can actually ban you on Cash App?"
I
They
didn't
did.
know they can ban you on Cash App.
They can ban you on Cash App. They sure as heck banned me. So now I either deal with Zelle, which is if you have Zelle, you can put my name in, Dr. Philip Valentine, and you can in the PayPal. However, you can go to Kemet Earth, just Kemet, Kemet, and
Uh-huh.
the word Earth, at gmail.com, kevinearth@gmail.com. If you just want to drop a little gift or something in there, I'd really appreciate it, because everything that we do, my wife and I, goes right back into the community.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And his wife is nice. But wife makes sure he remembers things, so that's nice.
Oh yeah, she
Heard her in the background.
she's my memory. She's my
Yeah.
memory.
Okay. Yeah. This is right here. KimmitEarth@gmail.
Give thanks.
All right. Yes, family. Right there, fam. Oh wait. You know what? Let me. I'm sorry. I need to put what this is for so people know when they're looking at the playback. Um, wow. So in terms of like when you look at it, this like this looking at where we are from a bird's eye view in terms of of the economic piece that's going around like throughout the whole world. How is that lining up with when you were talking about spirituality and you were saying how it's planning and plotting? It's planning
Well,
and
the way that what we call the deep state, or I call the parasitic elite, the way that they operate is to make sure that you stay away from your spiritual side.
plotting.
This is why they're dealing with the satanic side. This is why they're conscripting all of our artists to deal with satanic energies. And satanic energy is actually Saturnian energy. There's no person named Satan. There's no person named Lucifer and all this kind of nonsense. This is all fairy tales. You might as well deal with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs if you want to deal from that perspective. Of course, that's going to offend a lot of Christians, but okay, like what Malcolm said, if you throw a rock, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, what I would say to you is that spirituality is under attack because if they threaten if they threaten the avatar that is supposed to express spirit through the flesh, the avatar itself will go into a fight or flight mode. It will no longer think about the subtleties of the what they are. They'll become who they are. And who you are is what it is that is conscripted and structured and crafted by the habits that are instilled in you, the habits to eat, the habits to sleep, the habits to have sex, the habits to have joy and sadness. All of these things are what fixes the physical body into the reality that we think is, quote, real. It
Mhm.
is. This is all temporal, which means it's time based. Time based, time is the fifth element. The fifth element is an ether. Ether is the conduit through which time operates. Now, this is what I teach in our school. Fire, air, water, and earth constitutes the WORD made flesh. That's what we talk about. In John 1st, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Yes, it is.
Mhm.
So fire, air, water, and earth constitutes the four foundational structures of the pyramid of life. The fifth element is time. Now, fire is sight, because each of the what we call senses on your body are actually conscious as themselves. So fire is conscious as itself,
Mhm.
air is conscious as itself, or what we call the atmosphere, water is conscious as itself, and earth is conscious as itself. But when these four representations of the pyramid of life are actually invested into the avatar of God, they no longer are just conscious as themselves, they become conscious of themselves. Now you have to understand the difference between the two. Fire is not conscious as water and doesn't know what water is. It is separate, it is just actually functioning as the foundation. When you get into a conscious entity that was breathed life, now the four elements that represent the creator on earth has the senses as consciousness. So fire becomes your sight, air becomes your hearing, because in a vacuum you don't hear anything. Water becomes your taste. Try tasting anything when your mouth is dry. And of course, earth becomes your smell, the scent. So these four elements are now active and conscious of themselves because you, as the centering point, give them that consciousness. Now, follow me. Now that you have all four of these elements, when they breathed the breath of life into you, most people don't understand that supposedly the creator breathed the breath of life in man. He breathed his consciousness, her consciousness into this thing that was going to represent his feedback in the physical world. So you are a feedback mechanism to the creator, so it knows itself. You are experiencing for the creator. So now, when you breathe the breath of life, you breathed the consciousness of the creator, and you call it thought. Time essentially exists so that creation exists. Without time, there is no creation. Time is connected to thought. Thought is time. How is that?
Yeah, how is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to understand that fire, air, water, and earth, sight, sound, smell, and taste, and thought. Thought is the cohesion. Thought is what gives you your sensibility in matter. Okay? So thought is time. Now, you can go back and time travel with a memory. For instance, you can sit one day and you're meditating with yourself, you had nothing to do, you read something in a book, and all of a sudden you're remembering the time when you had the best sexual experience you ever had. You time travel back to that moment, you could actually remember. And what happens to your body when that happens? All of a sudden, all the juices start to flow. And it's like, whoa, it's like I'm there. What's my thought doing to my body? That's it. What are your thoughts doing to your body? The thought becomes the circumvention to your spirituality. That's what impedes you. You fall back into the past. Every thought you think is of the past. There is no future thought. You don't think of future thought. Let me see. Let me think of something that has never been thought of before. Never happens.
Never happens.
So thought traps you in time. Thought is time. So once you come out of that and you begin to understand that thought is time, you do not allow it to control you. You do not allow it to circumvent your reasoning, because when you're thinking a thought and you're looking at that particular memory of your sexual experience, who or what is looking at it? Thought? No, there's something else. There is something in us called the observer. That is the God in there observing everything it's having experiences of. So when you're thinking a particular thought, there's a part of you that's looking at the thought. You ever had a song in your head, you can't get out of it? It keeps going on and looping. Who is that listening to it?
It's the observer.
Yes. So therefore, the observer is listening to what the thought is in the head. When you can come to the understanding that thought does not exist, it's a mechanical instrument of the brain. The part that's looking at that is the part that you need to pay attention to get to your true spirituality.
No, yeah. Look, okay, I'm sorry. Dr. Valentine, yes. Because let me tell you, everybody, okay, yes, I know everybody has an observer. I mean, my observer got a name because sometimes you can, so wait, how do you work on, I know, okay, let me just get this out. How do you work on the observer to make sure that the observer is observing things and giving it the right meaning? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, because sometimes you can have, and can you only have one observer, or can it sometimes be two observers? Or like, how does that work?
If there are two observers, then that's thought interfering with your process.
That's thought interfering with your process.
Thought always tries to interfere with the process because it knows it's terminal. Thought always tries to keep existing. Why do you think your appetites are continuously there? The only way for you to escape that is to escape into what is called the realm of intelligence. The
Okay.
realm of intelligence is what my teacher, Krishnamurti, I was taught that the realm of intelligence happens when you when you go into thought, you recognize thought is limitation. Therefore, thought is time. Time is limitation. Once you understand that, the observer no longer listens to the crickets. When I teach my students how meditation goes about, they're not meditating correctly because they keep putting thought in the way. Like, for instance, they say, well, I want to go to this particular place in thought. I want to reach nirvana, so I'm going to go to this place, and I know that I would have reached my epic space in meditation. No, all you've done is created more resistance to you getting there. So you say, I am here. I must get there. What have you done? What you've done is you've created distance. You say, I'm not that until I get there. So now the journey to get from here to there is Om Mani Padme Om, or you start doing all kinds of nonsense to think that you're going to trick your brain to shut up so that you can now hypnotize yourself into that. But all you've done is you just created another thought process that you're going to use to shut the other thought processes up. Doesn't work that way. True meditation is a cessation of the thought process invading in the space that you wish to find that particular silence. Because intelligence is the silence. And you learn that in my school. And once you understand that, I call them crickle thoughts. You know, a lot of people go in, they get into their meditation, they got to go into a lotus and they go into this Om and they put their fingers, all of this crap. Sit down, and a few times you're going to try to do it, lay back, and just not do anything. And usually I say, turn out all of the lights. And all of a sudden, when you think that you're going to sit there to meditate, everything starts rushing in. Did I turn off the stove? When do I pay my bills?
Yeah.
Bing, bing. That's the thoughts. They want attention.
They want attention, yes.
Right. And so you go ahead and say, oh, man, did I turn off the stove? Gotcha.
They get me. They get me every time I sit down.
Right. So here's what the silence is. The silence is not paying attention and adding your judgment to the thought, because every thought that you have within you is based upon a judgment that you added to that thought based on the experience you had that created the thought. So when you go back in your memory and you begin to think about a specific thing, that thing sits there and looks for your attention. And then you judge it. You said, man, you know what? I really hate that person. Yeah, I remember that person really did me wrong. And so you maintain the judgment, and that then becomes the umbilical that attaches you to that thought. And you're trapped by it because it keeps coming back looking for affirmation and confirmation. But if you sit still and just let the observer observe the thought trying to get your attention without paying any attention to it and thus adding your judgment to it, it begins to fade. It's like screaming children. But as you're listening to them and you're not paying attention to actually tell you that this thought is more important than that thought, this thought needs my attention. When you stop doing that, all of a sudden, the more you begin doing that meditation, the less and less you hear those thoughts. Until one day you go into that space and there's nothing there. Now that's the most frightening time, because your thoughts in your head affirm your existence. It's what makes you believe that you're real, that you're alive. And then you now use that in order to affirm that you are alive. But you're never more alive than when you fall into the silence. Because that's where the spirit is. That's the doorway. That's the key. That's the area code you dial up.
Okay. How long does it take for you to get to the point of silence?
It takes a while, because it depends on how much you have actually depended upon your thinking. A lot of what I taught 30 years ago And everybody is now saying that, well, do this, do that, do womb thinking and womb healing, and all of that was essentially the metaphysics of thought that I used to teach back 35 years ago in the botanical gardens in New York. I used to have my classes there. I used to teach people, to teach women how to heal their womb by wrapping the copper wire around their around the bottom part, the top part of the vaginal area, and then sticking it into the ground around where their wound is, and they could add two crystals on either side, and then having the wound being healed from there, and also healing um, these are the headaches by going to a tree, using the pendulum to find out the portal that the tree uses as an expression of its consciousness, wrapping the coil wire 7 times, and then taking that and wrapping it around your head 7 times. And people have said that they've known how old the tree is because the tree tells them how old it is. And we used to teach all of this. All of this is old. I would teach people which, as far as the herbs, how to ask the herbs, are they poisonous or not, with the pendulum. I used to go to the African Street Festival, and some of you might remember, I used to have a table with Queen Afua there, and women who were pregnant would come and ask me, what is it, a boy or girl? And 99, 44, 100% of the time, they would come back and show me the baby. You were right.
Wow. Oh my. Yeah. So, Dr. Valentine, I'm sorry. I'm still on the observer. And I'm hearing what you're saying. And I thank you, because you're giving like a voice to something that I've been, thinking about and talking about a lot about, about this other like voice in my head, and just wondering like, how can I just get her to just calm down? Just she just
By
needs to go.
just looking at her, just because she's a mirror. You could do mirror exercises as well. I used to teach mirror exercises. Staring into a mirror at night with just a candle is scary because you could bring other entities, a mirror being a reflection of the other world. It's the opposite world. So you have to be very careful if we know how to do that. What you do is you could just go into the mirror and look straight in the mirror and look at the middle of your eyes. You could actually see the different animals that represent you. So you could go into the mirror, sit very carefully, but you have to be very squared with the mirror. And there has to be a dim light. And if you can focus right between the eyes of your eyes, you'll begin to see your face spread, and the different animals will show themselves. Horses, birds, pigs. One of my students got so scared she ran out of the room.
Yeah, I see somebody over here saying it can be spooky. It sounds spooky, you saying it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm saying, again, it's you being more and more aware of the fact that you are the multiplicities of life. You are different vibrations. You're the collective of life. In the womb of the Black woman is the mitochondrial library of all of our existence, which is why they want you to be the Cardi B hoe and screw 25 and 50 people, not realizing that the more sperm you put into your body, the less you can bond with one man. And the thing about it is that people don't understand, and it's in my book, The Wounded Womb, that once a man has ejaculated in you, he changes your blood orientation and your energy for life, which is why it was necessary for a man to marry a virgin, because the more sperm that you have in your system, the more contentious your body is to the sperm that comes after. Most people don't know that sperm is alive, so is your blood, and it changes women's sometimes their whole nature is changed. In fact, sperm is an antidepressant. Yes, it is.
Okay, listen, I've been taking notes. Dr. Valentine, we got a couple of shows. You got to come back and talk more about sex, because I'm sorry, you had me at the lipstick and all of that. Okay, we got to talk. There's so many things we got to talk about in our community. And
you have my book? I have a tape out there dealing with tantra.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. What can you find?
I don't know what it is. I don't know, because I've done so much. I have over 200 tapes floating around. I don't know where it is.
Listen, family, I know somebody out there got the tantric tape for Dr. Valentine. Y'all need to get up at Happy and let us know where we can get these things at. My, Dr. Valentine, just you've really hit a lot of different things. Wow. Okay. Oh man, I really want to first of all just thank you for coming, and family, please make sure you are liking and sharing this video, because Dr. Valentine is dropping all types of jewels. I see you guys putting jewels in the comments. Yes, and let me make sure everybody's clear about what needs to happen, because we have to support our elders. We can't just just be a benefactor, yes, of like their knowledge, and not like show love in a real way. Okay, so we have this right here. You can go here, and this is a place where you can get all types of treatments, get your medical piece together, your medical physical piece together, and also like your meditation, your classes and stuff like that. Can they contact you here for that?
Yes, the uksnow.org is our university's website. We also have something for people who wish to homeschool their children at ismhomeschool.org. We have an ismhomeschool.org where we take children. For the last 10 years, we've been doing the real quiet work of getting our children out of this system. And we have some powerful teachers that teach on there. If you want to go to ISM, that's Institute for Self-Mastery, ismhomeschool.org, you'll see that we take children, I think, from 5 or 6 years old all the way up through high school.
Okay.
And we look into it, and we do have some videos there with our teachers, and just take control of some of your lives with some of the services we have. We don't, the thing is, and I'm not trying to, not playing games here. I don't know how much longer I'll be able to do what I'm doing and what we do on our level. So I'm hoping that the young people can actually take the gauntlet up, with the amount of information that we can do. You have, young people today have the click of a mouse. We've had to travel to different places to gather the information we did. I've read over 3,500 books with a speed reading course that I took in order to do the amount of work. I joined, somebody made me a 32nd degree Mason. I dropped out of that. I went into Rosicrucianism. I checked it out. They're racist. I checked with the Theosophy Lodge. I went every place searching. I stopped at every oasis of knowledge that I could, and sat at the feet of some of the great men. And sometimes I feel like all that I have here is you can't get to, unless you ask me. I wouldn't know what I know. And that's what happens, when you begin to store all kind of information, and you don't know it until somebody says, "Do you know this? Do you know this? Do you know this?" I know it from a metaphysical perspective, like Dr. Gabriel Oyibo, for example, who did Gij, comma J equals 0, which subsumed E equals MC squared, which was, disproven long before that. Dr. Gabriel Oyibo was a brilliant man, and he created what is known as Gagut, God Almighty's Grand Unified Theorem, something that Einstein was looking to do for 30 years and never did it. He did it. Okay. He and I would sit down, and this man was a great physicist. Matter of fact, he worked for NASA, and he helped to deal with some of the mathematical equations necessary for the shuttle to work properly. This is how great this man was, or is actually. And he and I would sit down. He would, speak about science and physics, and I would speak metaphysics, and we would be in simpatico.
Yeah.
It would be this beautiful exchange of information, because we knew that the two were linked. His was dealing with the physical and dealing with the ways that the universe works. Ours was the interpretation through the philosophy, which is what we call metaphysics. So I would say that young people today have so much, which is what is that sometimes is a kind of a minus, because when you have so much, you don't know where to start. That's why I created the university. You
Yeah.
don't know where to start. We didn't know because we had elders. Like when Dr. Ben, I said, Dr. Ben was a 96-degree Mason. And I said, Dr. Ben, I would like to know everything you know and blah, blah, blah. And he said,
Mhm.
no, he's not supposed to give us that information. So I said, well, listen, we were great. You keep telling us, my elders keep telling us we built this, we did this, we were the first, we were the this. I said, that's what we did. But who were we? What was the spiritual fuel that gave us this greatness? And that was the metaphysics. And so it was my duty with brothers like master teachers like Dr. Small, Professor Small, and Dr. Jeffries, Dr. Van Sertima. These were my idols.
Mm.
And they would say, you're not a slave. You weren't just a slave. You weren't just a this and a that. Yeah, well, you weren't a nigger. You weren't a this, you weren't a that. I said, okay, well, if we weren't that and we were building all of this, then what were we here? What were we here? And that had to be the metaphysics. So I knew it was my duty not just to just forward the practical information, the historical information of civilization, but what was the spirit of the civilization? What created that? And that's where metaphysics comes in. That's why I had to study the mind. And so you can understand and overstand and understand exactly who your ancestors were, because that's who you are. Once you study you, you know your ancestors, because you are the ancestors returned. And that's why you can't you can't screw with these young kids, because they're coming back.
Mm.
They're coming back and they expect that they are going to be given what it is that is supposed to be their inheritance. And that's the righteous information, the righteous ethics, the morality. This is why they are always attacking our women, because the woman is the one who holds down the morality of the society. The men hold down the ethics.
Mm.
So
Yes.
this is where we have to return. But again, that's a work. That's why we have to take our children out of this school. This is not an education energy. It's a deducation. They kill inspiration. They
Mm.
kill knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have to come out of that Osirian mentality when it comes to teaching our children, take them out of these schools, take them away from these people who want to destroy them, and begin to build our own communities. I guess I might have rambled on too much, but
Well,
again,
well, you know what? Actually, you rambled on to your official birthday. So happy birthday, because it's after.
oh my God.
Happy birthday. Yay. That's what's up. That's what's up. Wow. Dr. Valentine, thank you.
You're
Um,
welcome.
family, please. This is Dr. Valentine's PayPal. Please hit him up on the PayPal, because he, spent part of his birthday with us, but dropping knowledge. We came on to just have a little simple conversation about spirituality and economics, and we got a bunch of different lessons, a bunch of different places we can go for practical information and more assistance and help with all the .orgs. And if you just look at, if you just replay the tape, you'll see everything, because we were putting them all down when he was giving it to us. So family, please, right there, kimmetearth@gmail.com. We got to start taking care of our elders and people who are giving us information, and whatever you have is good enough. Okay, family, we got to remember that whatever you have is it's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything is welcome, and my gratitude extends to the family. I love my people. You can't. Every time they think that they've got us, we find a new way out. They can't stop us. We
Yeah.
always find another way. That shows you who we really were. We were the innovators. They're
Yeah.
the
Yes.
imitators.
Yes. Oh, we have to say peace to Jamar Milton. He is a comedic priest rapper. He's good. His,
Oh, okay.
yeah, his music is really good.
All right.
Yeah, I see J Mar in the chat. I haven't seen him in a minute. He's been on HAPI Talks when we first got started, like almost a year. Yeah, about a year and a half ago. So yeah, all these. I don't want to show everybody's comment because I need to keep your cash, your PayPal up here. But I will. Yeah, when you leave and I take the PayPal off, I'm gonna put all the happy birthdays because they're definitely coming in. Yes. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Dr. Valentine. I will be in touch because we're gonna have to have some more conversations.
Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate your energy and thank you so much for dropping these jewels tonight. And happy birthday, happy solar return, happy everything. All right.
Love it. Thank you. And listen, keep that beautiful face, keep that smiling. You know, you're a radiant energy. We need you out there. So we have positive energies for sisters that are out there. We need to get to our young girls. They need to open up something, a school or something for girls to look at you and say, yes, I can actually look like that and be like that, you know, be an example. And with that, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. I really appreciate the love.
All right. Thank you. All right. Okay, family. There you go, Dr. Valentine. Yo, like he's powerful. I have to say peace to everybody in the chat. Make sure you are liking and sharing this video. I'm going to make sure I put up all of these, all of these well wishes to Dr. Valentine. So we have these on record. You know, it's very important to make sure we are documenting things. I see a lot of people who travel with us to Egypt, to Kemet, in the house. I see Tika, she's up in the house. Yes, Jamar, I'm with you. Yes, you know, Jamar Milton, you gotta check him out. Jamar, put your website or something up in the chat for everyone. But yes, family, this is so important to make sure that that we are taking care of people who are out here pushing for us to know our history so that we know ourselves better, so that we can then really get on to building our community the way that that we know how to. And I also want to say this morning, I had the pleasure of getting onto Dr. Oba Tashaka's show. Oh my God, it was like, you know, today I'm blown, I'm telling you. It was like Sunday sermon. Dr. Tashaka is no joke. And I see a lot of you guys that were on this morning that are on tonight. So you know what I'm saying right now. Dr. Oba Tashaka, make sure you are following him. Our elders are out here doing the damn thing. So we have to make sure we are supporting them as much as possible. Okay, so make sure you are following Oba Tashaka. I'm gonna put down his thing, and he's on YouTube. That's where you need to follow him at, and make sure that you are. Let me put this in here because everyone. You know, it's just important that we are supporting our elders in a real way. And family, make sure that you are liking and sharing this video and that you send in. Yes, I see you guys are talking about going to Egypt. Yeah, we do have another trip planned. We will be announcing in a little while. So make sure, that's why it's important to sign up for our newsletter, because the newsletter people get everything first, you know, first up. So if you go to hapifilm.com, and I'm going to put that up here, right here. You go to hapifilm.com, hit the Get Connected button, and that gets you connected. You put your email address in, then you are on our newsletter roster. And so when we announce, because we're going to be announcing a big old event that's going to be happening, but if you're not, you know, if you're not connected, you won't know about the event, and you won't get the little discount. So it's really important that you that you do that. Make sure that you are connected. And also, family, we are so close. And when I say so close, we are so close to reaching 30,000 followers on YouTube. So if you guys watching this show, and if you are not subscribed, And you have, so the only way you know that is if you go to YouTube and you look, and if subscribe isn't blacked out, make sure you please subscribe to us, okay? And make sure you hit the notifications button. Because I know, a lot of times I watch people's show and I was like, oh man, I forgot to subscribe. Subscribing is putting cash money in whoever you are looking at, when you're looking at their video. And it's important because, like I said before, the HAPI movement, it costs money. All movements cost money. And, I'm not independently wealthy, but after listening to Dr. Valentine, I'm going to get onto this XRP. But I want to just, really say, if you can, please make sure you are following us on YouTube, that you are actually subscribed to our, to the channel, and that you hit the button for notifications. And thank you to IG. And you guys can go hit us up on the IG. We're on YouTube, on IG, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you really want to be down with the movement, you need to follow us on all 4 platforms. But we want to thank you guys for, we finally reached a milestone on IG. We hit 10K. We were looking at this thing, Taki and I, it's like we got to 9,967, and then it was like one follower. So it was like, we were so happy when we finally reached 10K. So we want to thank you guys, because we understand that we can't do any of this. And we are very clear about that. We can't do any of this without your support. So thank you for giving us, your support, giving us your trust, and just, being there, for us in all types of ways. But yes, thank you. Make sure that you are following us. Make sure you hit Dr. Valentine off, break him a little something for coming through. And make sure you follow Dr. Obatishaka. These are going to be some of people that we need to have coming back regularly, so they can, because they have such a wealth of information. This man has written 7 books. Let's just get that part right there, 7 books. And so we want to make sure that we are supporting him in a real way. So, I think that is it for me tonight. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in. You guys were late. We spent 2 days together, really from 10 to 12:12. And it was just a good time to stop right there, 10 to 12:12. All right, family. So thank you so much. And in the words of, I love, you guys know how I feel about Professor James Small, which Obatishaka is like his best friend. Isn't that cute? And it's something he always says when he, when you get off the phone with him or whatever. So since he's not here, I will make sure I say it, which is peace and blessings, family. Love you.
I don't know what we can talk about in this nation without talking about white superiority, honestly.
Who defines the meaning of God also defines the relationship between economy and God.
African Americans spent $1.3 trillion last year, making us the 16th wealthiest nation in the world. Why have we not turned those riches into wealth to develop our community?